What's happening, Don? Welcome back to the second episode of what we've now named the MMA Lockdown Podcast. How's it going your side there in London today?
Yeah, it's going well, Jazz. I've moved across London from my student room into the flat of a friend's dad, who was kind enough to offer for me to spend the rest of the lockdown here. So yeah, feeling good, having a bit more space.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, I was about to say, got a little more space there.
yeah, it's going to be a lot better for the sort of indefinite future. And
Yeah,
you,
that's
how are you
awesome.
doing? I see you rocking the AOJ t-shirt there.
Yeah, I got to wear it for the podcast.
Yeah, man, you went there.
Yeah, I was lucky enough when I was visiting a friend in San Diego, probably like a year or two ago now. And AOJ Academy is down in Costa Mesa, which I think is maybe like a 40-minute or an hour drive. So yeah, I went down there, spent the day there, did 2 or 3 classes. Yeah, it was a great vibe, great experience.
Yeah, man, that's epic.
Um, So yeah, Don, we're on day 3 here. Obviously, we've been following a bit of the news. We can't not just have a few minutes to chat about the lockdown. And I managed to do within my building 5 kilometers, some stairs, some push-ups. So that was kind of cool. It's
Yeah,
feeling
man, I
rather
saw you
antsy
sent
and
me
stuff.
you sent the Strava over.
Oh, the
I was
Strava.
like,
Yeah, that's right.
wow, that
Yeah.
is very impressive. 5Ks indoors on lockdown, man.
Yeah, it took a long time too. It took me like an hour 20 to get in those 5Ks. But it was good to break a sweat nevertheless. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a worrying time. I mean, South Africa's economy before this whole coronavirus thing was already struggling, and this is obviously not going to help it at all. Um, Also very kind of sad and worrying to see what's happening out in our informal settlements. Obviously, very difficult circumstances for the people there. I saw a video of a line of a few hundred people at a supermarket, and someone said, before we judge this, we should understand that most of these people only earn a weekly wage, and they also don't have money to stockpile like more fortunate people, which is a very true and true statement. So it's what can they do? They only get paid once off at the end of the week, and that's when they have to wait to go to the shops. Whereas I think we're in a fortunate position where we can go and stockpile for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I saw a Sky News report from Alex where people are saying to the journalists, you can't expect us to stay indoors if indoors is sharing a room with 6 people. It's
Yeah.
not plausible to be locked down in those situations. It's not humane. And that's right. So how things play out back home
Yeah.
is anyone's guess, and it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw this. I saw that an NGO is actually, I'm not sure you're the lawyer here, but they're filing some sort of, I don't know, help me out here with the court saying this is against the constitutional rights of actually
Yeah.
taking away people's freedoms.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I did sort of expect that something like that would happen, because usually to completely take away freedom of movement, and there's obviously other rights that are being implicated in the lockdown, including freedom of expression in terms of not being able to say, intentionally tell lies about what's happening with coronavirus. That's a crime in South
Right.
Africa now, which I think is justified. But usually for like such widespread limitations on rights, you'd have to declare a state of emergency. But the president didn't do that. He only declared a disaster. So I think there is scope for arguing, are you allowed to constitutionally limit people's movement, freedom of religion, lots of different things that are being limited. And I think it is justified, but it's not surprising that somebody is going to try to say it's not.
For sure. And I mean, while this is all going on, it takes time. These people that live on such a low wage, they need to buy food in the meantime. So it's all good people debating, going back and forth, but day to day, these people need to survive. It's a tough situation. I understand that everyone wants to flatten the curve and stop the spread, but it's it's a tough balance at what cost you do that. So anyway, we have to watch this play out. It's all new for us, but yeah, let's chat about what we came here for and distract us a little bit from all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
You actually sent me the video of the John Jones body cam footage. Pretty crazy stuff. I'm glad to see that he was so compliant and everything like that, didn't escalate the situation. But yeah, just what does this do to the middleweight division now? What do you think? I mean, there's obviously guys chomping at the bit to fight for that title. We just saw a really close fight with Jones and Reyes, and I think Dana was saying he wants an immediate rematch. It's the thing to do. But now what happens with this middleweight division? Sorry, light heavyweight. My bad.
Yeah, man. I think that the video was pretty tough to watch. Actually, I thought Jones in shikkered, as we say, in Yiddish. I think so. Yeah. He it was rough watching, and I think on the one hand you feel like maybe the guy's got a real problem, and you do feel bad in that sense. But on the other hand, you just feel like we said on the last episode, how can he be playing at this stage of his career and the stage of his life, everything that's already happened. I think it throws the division out horribly. The Reyes rematch would have been great. Who knows when Jones can next compete. I thought Reyes probably won the first fight. It was very close though, for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I think people like Thiago Santos have got a good claim to say, we can't wait around for Jones. I think he's already starting to make that claim. So Jones might have to just take a back seat in this division again.
Yeah, and it won't be the first time he's held up the division too. So it makes it even more frustrating. If this is kind of your so-called first offense, people might have a little bit more kind of patience and leeway. But because this is, I can't count how many times he's kind of screwed the division. So yeah, definitely guys like Reyes, Thiago Santos. We saw Jan Blachowicz. He's on a great tear at the moment. I think he just knocked out Corey Anderson. Before that, it might have been Jacare. And then I was looking earlier, before Jacare, he fought Luke Rockhold. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I mean, that's quite a stack of guys to knock out, or at least win. So yeah, it's. I think they need to do something there. I guess what's probably going to happen is that the UFC is going to wait and see how long the situation with Jones will take to clear up, and then make a call. If they say, okay, we can clear this up fairly soon, then maybe not. But if it's going to take 6 months, a year, then I think they need to figure something out.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is it throws out this whole plan that I think the UFC has had for Israel Adesanya to fight John Jones at some stage,
super fight.
It's a shame. Yeah, that's a super fight. So I don't know, man, but you gotta lie in the bed you make, and I think it's going to be a rough road for Jones going forward now.
Definitely. Yeah, and I guess also in a way it's fortunate timing for him because the UFC is so distracted with trying to make the Tony fight and Khabib fight that this is probably just on the sidelines for now. So it'll buy him a little bit of time to maybe sort things out.
Yeah.
And well, at least I saw one event that's going ahead. I think actually today, the 29th of March, is the Submission Underground. We managed to see the main event, which was Craig Jones and Kevin Casey. Craig Jones, obviously the bigger name, and I was having a look because I remember seeing Kevin Casey fight in the UFC. He was like a tank, really well built, like very impressive athlete, and I didn't actually realize he was a black belt under Rickson Gracie. So that should be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, it should be a fun match to watch, and nice to have something to watch. The sort of question of the ethics around going ahead with these events is a whole different story at this stage. But yeah, will I try and catch it? Definitely,
Yeah, for sure.
And I see that, Chael Sonnen's very involved in Submission Underground, and he's also been quite lenient on Dana's position with trying to make Khabib Tony go ahead. So I think, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I think Chael also wants to sort of justify his own decisions to go ahead with his event.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, I don't know
Oh,
though whether Dana can pull it off. You know, he hasn't announced even one of his apparent options for where this fight might go.
right. I
Uh,
saw he said he had five options currently.
yeah, he told that to Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Did you watch that? That was a great clip.
Yeah, yeah,
Mike
it's
waving
amazing. Well,
around.
Mike
What's
Tyson
that?
fight, interviewing Dana White. What a world, 2020.
What a world. And as we were saying, it's just so crazy, like how Mike now just like looks like this nice old man, but when he was in his prime, he was this like absolute killing machine, like
Yeah,
terrifying.
yeah. You almost expect Mike to like send to like bring out the like new batch of cookies that he's just baked.
Right. Well, he was waving around a joint in the background, so
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah,
I might
Dana
have to do
he's
the
got
same
these
thing.
options, or but
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
yeah.
Awesome, Don. Well, as we say, we're not only watching the coronavirus play out day by day, but we're also waiting for the news on the Khabib and Tony fight and just watching everything else going down in the MMA world. And I guess just waiting for it to come back to normalcy. But yeah, Don, before we wrap, I thought I'd ask you, and you could let our listeners know, and also myself, what are your top three, either social media, Instagram, people, or sites that you follow for news and information to keep you updated?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I've got a bunch, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to not to be disciplined enough to just not spend my days checking social media constantly during this lockdown. But sometimes I'm
Right.
not disciplined enough. One of my favorite people to follow is Luke Thomas. I enjoy his analysis. Unfortunately, he blocked me on Twitter some time ago.
No way. Why
Yeah.
did he block you?
I Luke Thomas does this thing where he constantly says the point being is. Um, no, wait, what does he say? Uh, yeah, he says the point being is, and
Okay.
it's just like it's incorrect grammar, and I can't handle it. So one time I tweeted at him, I was like, you can't say that, it's like the point being that, or uh, just like the point being is just can't be right. And I think he blocked me because of that, because I can't think what else it could have been. I didn't do
So he
anything.
actually blocked you for pointing out bad grammar.
Yeah. I was like, Luke, you say this
Sounds
all the time, man. It's not like he says it once every few months.
It sounds like that's a pretty sensitive thing to block someone for, but at least you're still following him. I mean, respect.
Yeah, I'm following him on YouTube, but I might write him and say, Luke, in this time of lockdown, forgive and forget. Uh,
Yeah, there you go. All right, and who else?
um, my sort of top podcast at the moment is The Man and the Myth, which is Sean Al-Shadi and Chuck Manolo. And
Nice.
they are writers at the Athletic, I think it's called.
Okay.
They
Okay.
do a very cool podcast. I really like it. I wasn't a huge Sean Al-Shadi fan when he was at MMA fighting, but he's grown on me a
Mhm.
lot. Um, and then my number three, I'll take Mark Ramundi, who's sort of like uh, one of the sort of ESPN guys. I like to call him Marundi when I talk about him, because that's what Daniel Cormier calls him.
Okay.
But he's very good, very insightful, does a lot of sort of interesting statistical stuff, follows the sort of PED world and stuff outside
Right.
UFC quite a lot. So
Okay.
it's a different kind of voice in the game. What about you? You got
Nice,
a top,
Don.
you got a top three for these difficult
Yeah,
times?
it's also tough for me, but I'd say the top two guys for, I guess, like fact checking and knowing that you're getting like legit information is probably Ariel and Brett Okamoto from ESPN. Just with their connection to the UFC, they're always chatting to Dana. They're always on the phone to Dana, so you know that information coming from them. If there's like someone who's like injured and out of a fight, or there's been a date change or opponent change, or someone's missed weight, when they're putting out the information, it's legit. And then other news site that I follow, which puts out some great content, good videos, is MMA Junkie.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that keeps me up to date and informed in the MMA world.
Yeah, man, you need these sites. You need these sort of sites in this time, and these people to follow. Although, I think like us, they're starting to feel like this longing for something to report on. But
Yeah.
we've always got John Jones to keep us.
Keep us entertained. Yeah, Don. Well, thanks for the chat. Good episode 2. Hope that our few listeners that we hopefully are going to grow episode by episode enjoy that. And I think it's what is the time? It's almost 3:30. I'm going to try figure out what exercise I'm going to do today. I've got those mats I told you about, so maybe I'll do some solo drills and some kettlebells.
Yeah, man. I'll be.
Yeah, you're lucky that you can go outside.
I can go outside once. I guess you'll find those people who just lie and go more than once.
Right.
I can go outside. It's been raining on and off here today. But I'll try catch a moment where it's good outside.
Yeah, get in some shadow boxing, some old school Muay Thai, head movement.
Yeah, I saw a guy shadow boxing on like a street pole yesterday, and I was like, "You better control your strikes, bro." It turned into a Tony Ferguson workout.
Yeah. Nice one, Don. Well, cheers to our second episode. That was a lot of fun.
I don't have my Jits mug with me because I've moved home.
All right. We'll let it slide this time.
Right. Sweet jazz.
All right, Don. We'll chat to you soon.
Cheers, bro.